It's Friday, which means it's time for a walk and talk. And I got me a little list of things that I want to talk about. One of the things is motivation. I'm no motivational speaker, but I will tell you this. When it comes to motivation, you just don't always have it. But the one thing you can have is discipline. And discipline will always be superior to motivation, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline, that's what makes it happen. So I want you to think about that when you're like out and you're detecting. There are some things that are always going to be true. One of those things is, if you dig more targets, you will find more treasure. Okay? And what sparked this idea, or why I'm talking about this, is I was looking online and I saw this post that was like, I wish they could, or maybe it was like, will the next generation of metal detectors have AI in them, or something like that. And this was a pretty divisive post where people were like commenting on this, a bunch, AI has no, whatever. And the thing that I got to thinking about, right, is that like, what they're really saying is they want a metal detector to tell them what to dig, okay? And this goes back to what I've been saying, like, you've heard me say before, there's a million people on YouTube that'll help you find reasons, they'll give you reasons not to dig a target, okay? And that's basically what this person's looking for. They're looking for a program that gives them more reasons not to dig a target. Well, I got news for you. A pull tab is always going to sound like a gold ring forever. And there's never going to be a machine that can tell the difference between a pull tab and a gold ring. Now, there's never going to be like a VLF or pulse induction, traditional type of metal detector. Maybe one day they'll come with an X-ray machine, so he's just like looking into the ground. But that's probably not going to happen in our lifetimes. Okay, that's just the simple reality of it. And there's a lot of factors that go into that too. Like, one is that you have to promote like education, right? I know that a lot of people think that stuff just gets invented, but when we're talking about high level stuff like that, you need like really spend some time in school, gang. You got to understand your math to make stuff like that happen, right? Some creative prodigy is not just going to create a machine that looks to the ground like it's invisible. Okay, let's get in the real world. Anyway, I'll move off from that, but the point of the matter is that like, quit looking for reasons not to dig a target. Have the discipline to dig the targets. Okay? Now, I don't care what anybody says. You don't need to be like changing up programs in the middle of a swing to listen to anything. If it beeps and it repeats, dig the target. There is no one on YouTube, there is no one on any forum, anywhere, that can argue against what I'm telling you. Now, do you always want to dig those targets? No. That goes back to motivation. It comes and it goes. But if you're disciplined enough to continually dig them, you will continually turn up more stuff. And I got news for you. That's the secret. That's the secret. You see these guys? I'll tell you one of the best examples. And I'm not the... I'll name a name in a positive light. And there's a detectorist in the Cowtown Treasure Hunters Club named Kenny Juul. Great detectorist. He was in a video that I made where I showed that club. Now, I can guarantee you by looking at how much stuff he posts and the stuff that he finds that he is digging solid targets all the time. I mean, just digging crazy numbers, okay? I have a lot of respect for Kenny Juul. He is like one of the greatest like real life metal detectorists that doesn't have YouTube, or really, he doesn't have much internet presence at all, except for in the club. He's all the time posting his pictures. Also, by the way, one of the best at creating a display of his finds too. Really good stuff. But anyway, you see that, and you'd be like, man, how does he find all this stuff all the time? He's digging the holes. He's out digging the holes, okay? And, you know, that's all it boils down to. I'm sure he doesn't always have the motivation, but it is very clear to me he has the discipline. So think about that. Let that be like a little, you know, earwig in the back of your mind when you're out digging. Do you want to dig this target? Are you in a place full of pull tabs? Saw another comment where a guy was like, I stumbled across a park and it was weird. The only signals were like low tones and or mid tones and pull tabs. Well, that right there tells you that you're in the presence of a lazy detectorist. I mean, someone hunts the park, but the only thing that they're interested in getting are high tones. That's a fool's game right there, okay? I love finding silver coins. If you haven't found one, you're going to. Silver coins are going to come. They sound so sweet. You will dig a silver coin. The real challenge is, will you dig a piece of gold? It never sounds good. Never strong. Sometimes you get a high ringing piece of gold, especially if it's real chunky and depending on what it's alloyed with. But as a general rule, it's always going to sound terrible, okay? And this is where discipline is important. So just keep that, you know, when you're out digging, just think about that. Think about the targets that you don't want to dig and ask yourself, why is it you don't want to dig them? Because you think it's going to be trash? Well, so what if it is? Dig it up, okay? And I know it can be a pain. And there are certain mental games you can play to overcome that pain. One of them is divide up your area into small little sections. If you're in a large area that it's incredibly target rich, break it down to like a 10 by 10 area and knock it out. Or take a small little area and play the notch game. Notch your detector, dig a certain, you know, range of targets, go back over it, dig the next range of targets, until eventually you have depleted your sighted targets. Now I'll kind of segue into something else that's been bothering me. Speaking of people irritating me on the internet with things like that, because if you're going to be good at anything, it never comes easy. So don't expect it to come easy, all right? This is already a hobby that is difficult in a lot of ways. Oddly enough, simplistic but difficult. The easiest way to master it is to just dig the targets. Anyway, I've gone on too long about this. I would like to talk about encountering negativity or subtle negativity in people that you meet. The other day, someone said something to me. They were like, well, they were like laughing. They're like, well, YouTube's not going like how you thought it was going to go, right? You know? And I'm like, what does that mean? You know? And they're like, well, you wanted to have more subscribers or whatever. Like, I'm doing really well, I think. But I got to thinking, like, what's the point of a statement like that? Why would you say that? Should I quit? I don't quit. And I don't care how long it's going to take me. I'm not going anywhere. But I feel like the discipline versus motivation argument is the same thing right here. Okay? So I'm sure people who do quit like to see other people quit because it validates their quitting nature. Well, I don't quit. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And I've explained this to some people like this. If you did something to me, and I had it in me, but my only mode of transportation were my half-broken, bloody fingernails, and you were 50 miles away, I'd get to crawling sooner than later. And I'd come for you. And that's how I pursue things in my life. It wasn't always like that. But we like carry on so easy to give up. I'm not giving up on anything. Just like how I'm going to keep making these videos, I don't care if nobody watches them. I'm going to keep making them. With that said, shorts have resumed. I started like paying a little more attention to how my software is cutting up these shorts. I'm gonna start tweaking them more because I found that I have a large viewership of shorts watchers only. And I can tell that because like there are a certain series of people that comment only on shorts, and there's a certain group of people that comment only on the long form stuff. So thank you to both. I appreciate both. What's interesting is that the shorts viewers very rarely see this particular content. So odd. We're gonna have another giveaway at 2,000. We're pretty close. I think it's 1880 right now, so we're scooting right on up. Tonight, which so this is actually Thursday, it's filmed a day in advance, is East Fork Treasure Hunters Club meeting. So I look forward to going to that. But in the meantime, I think I'm gonna bust out the HF2 coil and go hit some curb strips. Do you ever get that feeling where you're like, man, I need to hit some curb strips? Now you're talking about exercise and discipline, boy. Whew. Take you a high frequency coil like the HF2, which is also small in size, and go hit some curb strips. I'm gonna be digging some trash. But that's okay, that's part of it. I need to dig some trash. I'll tell you what, this is the longest I've gone and the most pull tabs I've dug and not found a piece of gold in I don't know how long. So I am really rooting for myself, and I will tell you, I have this feeling that like something good's gonna have to come up. Just this is like, and I know that this may be like a fool's wager, but I feel like the guy in the casino who has like bet the same thing for 30 hands in a row and hasn't won. He's bound to win something. So I'm gonna dig some trash today, and we're gonna see how that plays out. And I think we'll be all right. If you guys have gotten out this week, I really do sincerely hope you're getting that treasure. And I won't drag on too long. But speaking of East Fork, if you didn't see it, I did make a video where I go to an East Fork meeting and show it. That's a standout club. It's a completely different type of atmosphere than some of the other clubs I've gone to. I like it. It's got like a little extra hint of exterior culture. So if you have a club out there and you want to, add stuff like that, you might want to check out that video because I don't know, it's just there's something about it. I like it. I'm looking forward to it. So if you're in town and you happen to go to that club meet, great. It's always weird to talk about the future in past tense because by the time this hits YouTube, it will be past tense, but whatever. I'm confusing myself. And the only thing I need to be concerned about today is digging mini signals, which is what I'm gonna do even though it's like 90 degrees. So if you'd like stickers or any other swag that I may have presently, feel free to email me at igetthattreasure@gmail.com. I will send them out to you free of charge. If you have a favorite find that you'd like to have me showcase on Wednesdays in the favorite finds video, email that to me as well. I'd love to see it. I love seeing the stuff you guys find. It's great. It's also motivation for me. I look forward to seeing it, even if I don't show it. Sometimes I get sent some stuff where I'm like, keep digging, buddy. It's how it is, okay? But I do appreciate each and every one of you. We've had good growth. I'm really excited to see what the future brings. I will see you Monday with, you know what? I think Monday's video is Golden Triangle Club meet, which will be really good. So if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to go to a Golden Triangle Club meet, you're gonna find out. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope you get that treasure. And thank you so much for watching.